Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Videos. Today I'm going to talk about a documentary. It's on Netflix now, or you can get it through other sources. It's called After Porn Ends. This is a movie that was shot in 2012, and it's about numerous porn actors and actresses and what happens to them after they leave porn, the adult industry. So the actresses they talk to are Carrera, Tiffany Million, Mary Carey, Crissy Moran, Shelley Lubben, Lynn, Raylene, Seka, and Houston. And then they also talk to a few porn actors, John Leslie, Randy West, and Richard Pacheco. And most of these are from like the 80s, late 70s, but also some newer. And they start out talking to Carrera, and what they do is they basically introduce in the first 7 minutes all these different ones, and they just kind of briefly mention them and who they are. And then what they do is they go into more depth, but not very much about each one. So they talk to Carrera, who's a stay-at-home mom, Tiffany Million, who's a bounty hunter now, Mary Carey's in reality TV. They don't really go much into what she's doing. Crissy Moran is a Christian activist. John Leslie's an artist. Lynn is real estate. Raylene is real estate. Shelley Lubben is actually anti-porn. She has like this whole anti-porn movement, which just recently has been in the news because of scams, apparent scams, and some interesting ways that they're making money. And they talked to Houston, who's graduated from nursing school, Randy West, who's a golfer. And so they introduce them, and then in between when they talk, sometimes, not all the time, they'll talk to Nina Hartley, who's she does a lot of how-to videos in porn now. She used to be a big actress and popular, but now she mostly talks about the psychology about porn. She has a lot of movies, how-to movies and things like that that are pretty popular. And they talk to a writer named Luke Ford, who is very anti-porn star. Like, he talks a lot. He basically keeps referring to them as hookers. Like, that's the exact word he uses all the time. Even though not all of these girls escort or whatever, they're out of the industry, which is legal, and being a hooker isn't. And there's also a psychiatrist that they talk to, but he only pops up like a couple of times. And then there's an older gentleman, his name is William Marigold, and he is like, he used to be an actor and then a producer, and he's kind of like the elder statesman of the adult industry, and they interview him too. And it's interesting, like the stories are interesting. And the Luke Ford, the writer, he's very biased, and so whenever they talk to him, it's kind of annoying. The psychiatrist does have a couple of good things to say, but honestly, Nina Hartley could say the same things. Like, she's pretty impartial. Like, even though she knows, she is still in the adult industry, she does see both sides of things, and she has a lot to say. So they do spend most time talking to her, which is good. Some of these people have had bad stories. Bad things happen to them. They got into the adult industry in different ways. And some of them regret, ever getting into the industry. Some of them are okay with it, not happy. And some of them are glad because it gave them opportunities to do other things. It is an interesting story, and you do get some value out of listening to what they're talking about. Some of them, like the Crissy Moran becoming the Christian activist, you can see that. You can see from her side of things how that happened. And same with Shelley Lubben and her story. But you can also see, like, Asia Carrera is a Mensa. She's a member of Mensa, and she's not regretting being in porn. And some of these girls actually, after this video was shot, did get back into it. So they really cover all of the bases as far as people who regret it, people who don't, people who are glad they did it, things like that. Mostly the men are the ones who have the least problem with it, because probably they don't have to deal with as much of the stigma, and probably because they're not as recognizable as the women are. But it is entertaining, and it is a good documentary. The only thing about it is it does seem shot in an amateurish way for most part. Like, there are camera zooms when they're talking to people that completely miss what they were trying to zoom in on, which was kind of, it's clunky in some ways, and I wish they would have reshot that or edited around it. But I guess they didn't want to take it out because of what the subjects we're talking about. But other than that, it is a good show. It's not entirely entertaining. I mean, you have to, if you're familiar with these actors and actresses, their stories are interesting, but that's all it is. It's people telling their stories. So, and there are some, when they do talk to the actresses, they do show scenes from their movies. They're not X-rated, but they are a pretty hard R, just so you're aware of what's going to be in the movie if you do choose to watch it. So as far as Netflix goes, I'll give it a thumbs up. As far as a documentary series goes, I would give it a 7 out of 10, based on the content and the impartiality of the filmmakers. So that is After Porn Ends, and it is available on Netflix and video stores. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.